What if one of the most trusted pieces of advice you've heard your entire life is only half the truth? Since childhood, you've probably been told, always be honest. You were taught that honesty builds trust, earns respect, and protects you from regret. It sounds like perfect advice, and honesty is indeed one of the greatest virtues a person can have. But there is a hidden danger that almost no one talks about. The danger is not honesty itself. The danger is being honest without wisdom. Every day, good people unknowingly make themselves vulnerable because they believe that telling everyone everything is a sign of integrity. They reveal their fears, admit every weakness, share every dream, and expose every emotion, believing this openness will bring people closer. Sometimes it does, but many times it quietly gives the wrong people the exact information they need to control, manipulate, or undermine them. That is the hidden danger of being honest. Many people mistake honesty for complete transparency. They believe that if they have nothing to hide, they should have nothing to protect. As a result, they answer every personal question, explain every decision, confess every insecurity, and announce every future plan. They feel that withholding information is somehow dishonest, but there is a profound difference between telling the truth and exposing your entire life. Honesty means your words are genuine. It does not mean everyone deserves unlimited access to your thoughts, your emotions, or your private world. Imagine meeting someone for the first time. Within a few conversations, you tell them about your biggest fears, your financial struggles, your family problems, your disappointments, and the dreams you hope to achieve. At that moment, it may feel like you are building trust. In reality, trust has not yet been built at all. Information has simply been transferred. Trust is earned through time, consistency, loyalty, and proven character. Powerful people understand this difference. They never lie about who they are, but they never confuse honesty with immediate emotional exposure. One of the hidden dangers of being honest is that not everyone values honesty the way you do. Honest people often assume that others think with the same integrity they possess. They believe that if they would never misuse someone's vulnerability, no one else would either. Unfortunately, the world does not always work that way. Some people listen with compassion, while others listen with calculation. They quietly remember your insecurities, your emotional triggers, and the moments when you doubted yourself. They may never use that information immediately. They simply store it. Then, during conflict, competition, or betrayal, the very truths you freely shared become the tools they use against you. This is why wisdom must always guide honesty. Before revealing something deeply personal, ask yourself a simple question. Has this person earned the right to know this? If the answer is uncertain, silence is often the wiser choice. Silence is not deception. Silence is discernment. There are parts of your life that should be shared only with people who have consistently demonstrated loyalty, maturity, and respect. Giving everyone access to your inner world is not authenticity. It is unnecessary vulnerability. Consider how successful people handle their ambitions. Many never announce every goal the moment they create it. They work quietly while others are still talking. This is not because they are dishonest about their dreams. It is because they understand that unfinished plans are fragile. Too many opinions can create doubt. Too much praise can reduce discipline. Too much criticism can weaken confidence. By protecting their goals until they become reality, they give those goals the greatest chance to succeed. The same principle applies to your emotions. Feeling hurt, afraid, or uncertain is part of being human, but expressing every emotion to every person is rarely wise. Emotional maturity is not suppressing your feelings. It is choosing the right people and the right time to express them. Some individuals will help you heal. Others will simply collect your pain as future leverage. The hidden danger of being honest is forgetting that people have different intentions, even when they ask the same questions. There is another reason excessive honesty can become dangerous. The more people know about your fears, habits, and emotional patterns, the easier it becomes to predict your behavior. Predictability gives manipulative people an advantage. They know what compliments will influence you, what criticism will hurt you, and what situations will pressure you into making decisions against your own interests. Powerful people protect themselves from this by remaining truthful while also maintaining healthy boundaries. Their character is open, but their private life is earned, not freely available. Being wise with your honesty does not make you secretive or dishonest. It makes you responsible. Your life is valuable. Your thoughts are valuable. Your dreams are valuable. Not everyone deserves immediate access to them simply because they asked. True integrity is not measured by how much you reveal. It is measured by whether your words remain truthful while your boundaries remain strong. The hidden danger of being honest is not that honesty will destroy your life. It is that honesty without wisdom can place your trust, your peace, and your future into the hands of people who never deserved them in the first place. And once you understand that honesty should always be protected by wisdom, the next lesson becomes impossible to ignore. Not everyone who asks about your life has earned the privilege of knowing the truth about it. Have you ever wondered why some people ask so many personal questions the very first time they meet you? They ask about your dreams, your struggles, your relationships, your finances, your fears, and your future plans. It often feels harmless because the conversation is friendly. You assume they are simply interested in getting to know you. So, in the name of honesty, you answer everything. You believe that openness creates trust. But this is where the hidden danger of being honest becomes even more serious. Not everyone who asks about your life has earned the right to know it. Some people are seeking understanding, while others are quietly collecting information. Powerful people understand this difference, and that is why they never give unlimited access to their private world simply because someone asks. One of the greatest mistakes honest people make is believing that kindness automatically equals trustworthiness. Someone smiles at them, listens carefully, and appears supportive, so they immediately begin sharing deeply personal details. They talk about their biggest ambitions, their childhood wounds, the mistakes they regret, and the goals they have not yet achieved. In that moment, it feels like a genuine connection is forming. But a conversation is not proof of loyalty. Comfort is not proof of character. Trust cannot be built in a few minutes, a few days, or even a few weeks. It is built through consistent actions over time. Powerful people never confuse familiarity with trust. They understand that there is a significant difference between someone knowing your story and someone earning the right to hear it. Every meaningful relationship grows in stages. Respect comes first. Consistency follows. Loyalty is tested. Only then does deeper honesty naturally develop. They never rush this process because they know that once private information leaves their mouth, they can never take it back. Think about how often people unknowingly create their own problems through excessive honesty. Someone excitedly shares a new business idea before it has even begun. Another person reveals financial goals to people who secretly compete with them. Someone else openly discusses family problems with acquaintances who later spread those conversations as gossip. None of these people intended to create difficulties. They simply believed that honesty meant sharing everything. They forgot that honesty should always be balanced by discernment. The reality is that not everyone celebrates your success. Not everyone protects your confidence. Not everyone respects your vulnerability. Some people smile while secretly comparing themselves to you. Others appear supportive while quietly hoping you fail. A few become jealous the moment they realize your potential exceeds their own. These people rarely reveal their intentions immediately. They wait, they observe, and the more they know about your life, the more opportunities they have to influence it. This does not mean you should become suspicious of everyone around you. Living with constant distrust creates another kind of prison. The lesson is much simpler. Learn to let trust grow naturally instead of giving it away instantly. Powerful people remain polite, respectful, and honest, but they also understand that access to their private thoughts is something that must be earned. They know that boundaries are not walls built from fear. They are doors that open only for people who have consistently demonstrated integrity. There is another hidden danger that many honest people overlook. The more people know about your future plans, the more opinions they begin offering. Some will discourage you because they cannot imagine achieving what you hope to achieve. Others will unintentionally fill your mind with doubt through their own fears. A few may even try to compete with you using the ideas you openly shared. Suddenly, What began as an exciting vision becomes weighed down by unnecessary pressure. Powerful people avoid this by protecting their goals during the early stages. They allow their work to grow quietly before revealing the results. The same principle applies to your emotional life. Every disappointment, every insecurity, and every painful experience does not belong in every conversation. There are people who will genuinely help you heal, and there are others who will remember your weakest moments only to remind you of them during future disagreements. Honest people often believe everyone values vulnerability. Wise people understand that vulnerability should only exist where loyalty has already been proven. Notice how individuals with strong influence rarely feel pressured to answer every personal question. If someone asks about something they prefer to keep private, they respond respectfully without revealing more than necessary. They do not feel guilty for protecting their boundaries because they understand that privacy is not deception, it is responsibility. They have learned that saying, "I'd rather keep that personal," is often wiser than giving an answer that can never be taken back. This level of discipline requires patience because modern culture often encourages immediate openness. People are told that revealing everything makes them authentic, but authenticity is not measured by how much of your life you display. It is measured by whether your words remain truthful while your judgment remains strong. You can be sincere without becoming exposed. You can be kind without becoming predictable. You can be honest without handing strangers the keys to your inner world. Powerful people know that trust is one of the most valuable things they possess. That is why they never give it away simply because someone appears friendly. They allow people to earn deeper access through consistent loyalty, honest actions, and respect shown over time. In doing so, they protect not only their peace but also their future from unnecessary betrayal and disappointment. And once you realize that not everyone deserves the truth about your private world, the next lesson becomes even more important. Even your deepest weaknesses should only be shared with those who have truly earned your trust. One of the greatest misunderstandings about honesty is the belief that being completely open about your weaknesses will always make people respect you. You often hear people say, "Just be vulnerable," or "Tell everyone how you feel." While vulnerability has its place, there is a hidden danger that very few people talk about. Your weaknesses should never be shared carelessly. They should be shared selectively. The hidden danger of being honest is that once your deepest fears and insecurities leave your mouth, they no longer belong only to you. They become information that others can interpret, judge, remember, and sometimes even use against you. Powerful people understand that honesty does not require emotional exposure to everyone. They know that wisdom begins with choosing the right audience. Think about how many people reveal their deepest struggles simply because someone asked, "Are you okay?" Within minutes, they begin describing every insecurity, every fear, every disappointment, and every emotional wound they have ever carried. At that moment, they feel relieved because expressing emotions can be therapeutic. But they often forget one important question. Has this person actually earned the right to hear this part of my life? Honest people sometimes mistake curiosity for compassion. They believe that because someone is willing to listen, that person must genuinely care. Unfortunately, listening and caring are not always the same thing. Some people listen because they want to understand you. Others listen because information gives them influence. They quietly observe what hurts you the most, what makes you doubt yourself, and what emotional triggers affect your decisions. They may never reveal these intentions immediately. In fact, they often appear supportive at first. But when disagreements arise months or even years later, the weaknesses you once shared in confidence suddenly become weapons. They know exactly what to say to shake your confidence because you unknowingly gave them the blueprint. This is why powerful people never reveal every weakness to everyone they meet. They understand that emotional honesty must always be guided by emotional intelligence. They are not afraid to admit their imperfections, but they choose carefully who deserves to see them. They know that trust is not created by revealing everything at once. Trust is built slowly through loyalty, consistency, and proven character. Only after someone has repeatedly demonstrated respect, do powerful people begin sharing the deeper parts of themselves. There is another danger that many people overlook. Constantly talking about your weaknesses can slowly shape your identity. The more you introduce yourself through your fears, your failures, and your painful experiences, the more your mind begins to define you by those things. You stop seeing your struggles as temporary challenges and begin treating them as permanent characteristics. Powerful people avoid this trap. They acknowledge their weaknesses privately, work relentlessly to improve them, and refuse to let their limitations become the most memorable part of who they are. Notice how emotionally mature individuals handle difficult seasons in life. They do not pretend everything is perfect. They do not hide from reality. But neither do they seek comfort from everyone around them. When they need advice, they seek people who have demonstrated wisdom. When they need support, they turn to those who have earned their confidence. They understand that quality matters far more than quantity. One trustworthy mentor is more valuable than 100 casual listeners. Many people believe that keeping certain struggles private means suppressing emotions. It does not. There is a significant difference between emotional suppression and emotional discipline. Suppression means denying your feelings. Discipline means expressing them wisely. Powerful people allow themselves to feel pain, disappointment, fear, and uncertainty. They simply refuse to make every emotional moment public. They know that healing often requires reflection before revelation. Imagine a person who experiences failure and immediately announces every doubt to everyone they know. They begin hearing dozens of conflicting opinions. Some people discourage them, others criticize them. A few secretly enjoy watching them struggle. Instead of recovering, they become overwhelmed by outside voices. Now imagine someone else facing the same failure. They take time to reflect. They seek advice from one trusted individual. They learn from the experience, improve quietly, and return stronger. Both people were honest with themselves, but only one protected their weakness while it was still healing. This principle applies far beyond personal struggles. It also applies to your ambitions, your uncertainties, and the areas where you are still growing. Every unfinished part of your life deserves protection until it becomes stronger. A seed is protected beneath the soil until it develops roots. If it were constantly exposed before it was ready, it would never grow. Your confidence develops in much the same way. Constant exposure before emotional strength has formed can damage the very growth you are trying to achieve. Powerful people understand that everyone has weaknesses. They never pretend to be perfect. The difference is that they refuse to let those weaknesses become public property. They work on them in private, seek guidance from trustworthy people, and allow their progress, not their pain, to become visible. Their honesty remains genuine because it is balanced with discernment. They know that transparency without judgment creates vulnerability, while honesty guided by wisdom creates strength. This does not mean becoming emotionally distant or refusing to trust anyone. Genuine relationships require openness, but genuine openness is earned, not automatic. The people who deserve your deepest truth are the people who have repeatedly shown that they can protect it. Until then, your responsibility is not to reveal everything. It is to protect what is still growing. And once you learn to share your weaknesses only with those who have truly earned your trust, the next lesson becomes impossible to ignore. The most honest people are often the easiest targets for those who know exactly how to manipulate them. One of the greatest hidden dangers of being honest is something most people never realize until it is too late. Honest people often believe everyone thinks the way they do. Because they value truth, they naturally expect others to value it as well. Because they would never manipulate another person, they assume other people would never manipulate them. This innocent assumption creates one of the biggest weaknesses an honest person can have. The danger is not honesty itself. The danger is believing that everyone deserves the same level of trust simply because you live by honesty. Powerful people understand that integrity is a personal choice, not a universal rule. They remain honest themselves, but they never assume honesty in everyone else. Imagine lending money to someone because you know you would always repay a debt, or trusting someone with private information because you would never betray another person's confidence. or believing someone's promises because you personally never make promises you cannot keep. In every one of these situations, you are not judging people by their character, you are judging them by your own. This is where honest people often make their biggest mistake. They project their own values onto people who may not share those values at all. Manipulative people recognize this pattern